Hey guys, Q here, and this time, as you can see by the title, this is a bit different. Basically, what I'm doing is that I'm gonna be recommending, for example, I'm gonna have almost every genre release. I'm gonna have a series and then I'm not series, a genre and then a series attached to that genre, which is either just something I would recommend for that genre. I'm gonna try to keep it shorter series, below 200 chapters. There are gonna be some exceptions, and also I'm gonna try to have a series that aren't so popular, right? So there's gonna be no Berserk, Vagabond, One Piece, stuff like that. Anyways, let's get straight into it. The first series I want to talk about when it comes to these genres is Sunken Rock. Now, Sunken Rock, I almost no one I know mentions it, but it's a series about Ken, who's a Japanese guy who's in love with this girl, who the girl goes to Korea, and he just follows her to Korea, and then one way or another, I'm not gonna explain why, he becomes a mob boss, and he tries to just become the best mob boss in Korea and then the world eventually. It's a really great series with a great cast. Ken is one of my favorite characters of all time, and it's just let me get started on the art. The art, now I know people say, oh, Berserk has phenomenal art, and it does. Vagabond has the best art. It has really great art, but when it comes to just my personal preference and just how it looks, in my personal opinion, Sunken Rock just comes out on top. I don't think there's a single series that has better art than Sunken Rock, and it's not even close. And for those wondering, it's 171 chapters, and it's just 171 chapters of just pure fun and just great series with a good amount of action, a good amount of sadness too in it, and it's just really fun. The only complaint I have with it, and just others is too as well, is that there's a whole lot of ecchi, and I mean a lot of just unnecessary ecchi a lot of the times. But if you can get past that, it's gonna be one of your favorites. Maybe not one of your favorites, but it's gonna be very enjoyable. Oh, that and the ending. The ending's not that great, let's just say. But I just want to recommend this series because one, it's not that long, right? It's only 171 compared to other series out there that people would recommend. And two, I just don't see much love for it in general. Like on Instagram, for example, I've only seen a couple manga pages maybe post a panel on it every once in a while, and then on YouTube, I know the Masked Man said he made a video on it. I mean, not made a video on it, but he made he just mentioned it in a video a while ago, I think. And then one guy talks about it he just talks about how good the art is and stuff, right? Just looking at the art because he's an artist or something. I don't know. I haven't watched that video in a while. But aside from that, there isn't really much. There's other smaller channels that have made reviews or stuff like that. But aside from that, the series doesn't have as much attention, right? I know it's not a fair comparison, but you look at One Piece, for example, and it's just endless amounts of content. Even from one singular channel, it's endless amounts of content. And also, it's not even popular enough to have English releases. Now, I know it's kind of not fair because I know, for example, Kingdom doesn't have an English release, and it's outsold Vagabond, I'm pretty sure. So I know it's not the most, I guess, fair way to measure something, but it still doesn't have an English release, and it's not that popular either. So that's why I chose Vagabond. As for the next genre or series I wanted to mention is Adventure, and for Adventure I chose Dr. Stone. Now Dr. Stone, I have talked quite a bit on this channel since I made a review on it, so I'm not going to talk too much, but basically for those who didn't watch the video, it has really entertaining cast with great chemistry, great moments in it, a good unique story that I've never seen something like it, and it just the art again is also good because it's made by again Boichi, who made Sunken Rock. It's not made by Boichi since technically he only does the art, but just still the art is amazing, and it's just a really fun series that, as I mentioned in my video, it just makes science look so much more fun than any science teacher could ever do, and just again, it's just really fun and enjoyable to watch. Now, because I've already made a review on it, I'm not going to talk too much about it, so let's get straight into the next one, which again, I also made a review on, and that is Rikudou. Now listen, let me explain why I put Rikudou and not Haikyuu, Blue Lock, Hajime no Ippo, and all these other great sports series. It's because just of how little it's known. Now, just like Sunken Rock, you just don't see anything in Rikudou, even less Rikudou than you do see in Sunken Rock. I've only ever seen one person mention just Rikudou in any matter, whereas Sunken Rock is occasionally a person. Rikudou, for those who don't know, is just a series about a child who is just had a horrible life. And then, I'm not going to explain it because, again, it's spoilers, but he had a horrible life growing up. And then he becomes a boxer, and it's just his, like, way to, like, kind of not copy, but, like, just be his idol, I guess, right? Because this is, like, the person who saved his life was someone who was the OBPF champion, I think. I think that's how it works. I don't know. He was the OBPF champion, and then he just wants to be the OBPF champion, too. And it's just, like, the way he tries to get there and all that. The only complaint I can have with the series is that it does sometimes feel slow, and that the second thing isn't even about the series, that's just the translator's fault, but there's like 230 chapters out or more, and the translators have only done like 80-90 chapters, so you can't really experience too much of it. So that's kind of it, like, not its fault, but that's just the translators, and it's not really fair. But yeah, also I forgot to mention, but Dr. Stone is 204 chapters, and Rikudou is 96 chapters, actually. I had to look that up just now because I wasn't too sure. But 204 chapters isn't short, but they kind of fly by for Dr. Stone. And pretty sure for Rikudou too, it's less than 100. As for the next genre I wanted to mention was rom-com. Now, I do have comedy later, but I wanted to have these two separate. So as for rom-com, I have Love is War. Now, I talk so much about Love is War on this channel because it's one of my favorite series, and I made a review on it. So go check that out. But I'm not going to talk about it too much, so you probably already know how good it is. First, the anime is amazing. You should watch the anime. It's great. But the art style isn't the best at first, but it gets better. But the art in the later chapters is really good. The characters, none of them are amazing, but their chemistry is off the charts. And the comedy and I guess like the romantic aspect are both just something I just love. I haven't found I haven't even read a rom-com. I've only watched them besides Love is War, so it's not really fair, but I haven't watched or read something as good as it in that aspect before. There is Toradora, which you could say is better. I don't agree. I like Toradora, probably because it's my first rom-com or just romantic anime. So, it's a lot of firsts for that kind of thing, but I just really like the series, and I felt like it just needed to be here. Even if I'm not going to talk about Love is War too much, I just still felt like it needed to be here. But that's it for Love is War. Now, I know it's a sudden jump, but from rom-com, I want to get into psychological horror. And I know it's really just weird going from rom-com, which is generally all happy, and just psychological horror, but I have mentioned this before, and it's Me and the Devil Blues. But the way just the horror is done now, it's not going to be super scary, but just the psychological horror in the series is great, and just the way things are trying to be scary is really good, and the way they portray, I forgot his name, but the protagonist is his demon, I guess, a contract he made. I really love that, and the way you never know what's real and what's fake, right? His hands and stuff. I actually thought some of the stuff was real or some of the stuff was fake. Now, I'm not sure if I was supposed to know or not, whether or not it was supposed to be a mystery, but it was to me, and I like that part about it. And I know I'm gonna sound repetitive, but the art is also really good. Everything about the series is really good. My only complaint about it is that it's pretty short, but I would definitely say you should read it because it's a different setting you don't really see. It's pretty sure it's post-slavery America. I'm pretty sure I forgot, it's 1920 or something like the 1920s. And it deals about topics that you don't really see. It's racism, but it's not a hidden racism. When I say hidden racism, I mean for example, when they do Fishman and One Piece, where it's kind of obvious where they're going with it, but it's not the same. This is how it kind of was literally in real life, and how it still is. So I just feel for that reason you should read it. Now, they do have, I guess, explicit language. I hope you understand what I mean with the racism thing. So if you don't want to see that at all, then don't read it because there's quite a bit of it. But that just adds to the realness. But yeah, but as for the next genre I want to talk about is sci-fi. Now, I don't think I've read or watched too many sci-fi. I think the only sci-fi I've watched is Ghost in the Shell. I'm pretty sure. I probably read some other series that has a bit of sci-fi. I'm not really sure. I can't nothing comes to mind. But for the series I actually was going to put here isn't Ghost in the Shell. It's actually Gantz. And I say watch because I actually read this. But Gantz is a series with, again, great art, but has one of my favorite protagonists, and Kurono Ken, I think his name was. I know it was that, but I forgot the order. And the pacing of the series is actually just amazing, or in the just the way chapters fly by. There's nothing like it, right? The only series I've ever like been able to read 60 plus chapters of. I say 60 plus. I read 168 chapters of this. Now that was like over a year ago. I just remember because it was just that astonishing to me that I read that much. But the chapters fly by, and I'm not. That's not even a joke. Like they really like you do not feel them. Like those 168 chapters do not feel like 168 chapters. And that was in like the days where I was getting more into manga. So I wasn't even reading that many chapters as like I do now. Where I read like 20 chapters sometimes a day. For that, I would like maybe read 1 or 2 chapters a day before in that general time. So for me to go from like 1 or 2 to maybe even 10 sometimes to 168, you could say it was a bit of a big jump. I've never done anything similar to that ever again though. Partially one, because that just like was not the best idea since I really like the series, but two, it's just no series has ever had the chapters fly by like that before. It was just so fun, so hype, and just so good. And like some people complain about the last arc, but the last arc I feel like was less like pure quote unquote meathead fights and just more, I guess, themes and psychological. I don't know, but most people's main complaint about the series is that it can take a while to get good for some people. Like personally for me, it was good from chapter 1, but I know for some people it takes a while to get good, and 2, it's just overly edgy for some. I didn't find the problem with that. I just like for some people complain about like the monster designs. Personally though, the monster designs are like one of the best parts about the series because of how like unique the monsters look. Now I'm not gonna try to put them on screen because some people might be like sensitive to that kind of thing. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, just like look up like Gantz monster designs and you'll get an idea. But just the monster designs are so unique and creative and cool, and it's just great. Now you'll hear me talk about a bit more of just Gantz in general later, but I'm talking about like the original 300 chapter Gantz, by the way, in case you get confused. But as for the next series, like not next series, next genre, it's actually Magi. Now I've made a review and I've talked about Magi countless times, so I'm not gonna mention it too much, but just it's great and everything, right? There's not a single thing I find Manga to be bad at. Sometimes it would feel a bit slow, especially in the last arc, but it has one of my favorite arcs of all time, being the Co-Empire, and a lot. It's just one of my favorite antagonists, one of my favorite side characters. The list just goes on. So I would definitely recommend Magi. There's no reason for you not to read it. I would say watch the anime than the manga, but I don't know how good the manga is at the start. So I personally have watched the anime, and it has one of my favorite soundtracks ever and my favorite opening ever, so I definitely would recommend the anime. So yeah, it's basically it for Magi, which was magic / fantasy. Now I kept those two like the same because you don't see a magic series that isn't a fantasy. Like I can't think of one. And I know it's kind of unfair to like the fantasy genre and stuff because I could have just like separated the two and then put like magic for Magi or like fantasy for Magi and then have Fate, like the Fate series be in this, but I don't know, I just didn't think of that until now. But the next like genre was drama. Now for drama, now I know that's kind of because I know every series is just like a drama, but I had 3 Days of Happiness for this. Again, I made a review on it, and it's already pretty short, but it was just a fun read. With that, I was also pretty sad at the end. I read this in one sitting, which I generally don't do with manga. I was just bored at like family reunion and stuff, so I just read it all in one time, and it was pretty fun. It was just a unique experience, I'll say. The next thing, Supernatural, Tokyo Ghoul. I've already made a review. I'm pretty sure it was pretty recently too, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to mention it too much, but great in every aspect again. Now as for comedy, it's Prison School. Now I know for a fact I've not mentioned Prison School once on this channel, and that's because I forgot the series even existed until I was looking on my anime list for this video. Also, by the way, I used my anime list for this. You probably saw it already because I'm probably going to put a text up there, but I'll do that in post. Anyways, I was just looking at like what I read and what I've watched and like what is considered what genre, and I just forgot Prison School existed until I was doing this. But Prison School, like I know I say Love is War is the best comedy series, but when I say that, I mean it's the best series that has a heavy focus on its comedy. It's not the funniest series. When it comes to personal opinion, Prison School is just the funniest series I've ever watched and read. Like, it's not my favorite when it comes to like the art. I mean, you can't really compare the art, but the characters, the story, but none of that. But at least in the anime, I know I've heard the manga gets worse or whatever, but the comedy in the anime is like my favorite in any series. One Piece is up there, but I wouldn't really consider that a comedy, so I'm not considering it. But also, I know comedy is subjective, so you may or may not like it, but the series was so funny. It had me laughing from like beginning to end. It just was pure comedy and pure fun. I really love watching it, and I would definitely recommend it. It's only 12 episodes, so it's not even like it's gonna be that bad for you. And yeah, as for the next one, I think I have mystery. Now I had Beastars for this. Now I'm gonna mention this now before someone says anything. The reason I have Beastars as mystery instead of something else, because I know it's like pretty popular, is that Beastars is just the only series I found with a heavy just like aspect for mystery. And like, for example, I'm pretty sure they have some other series I mentioned here as a mystery, but like when I feel like mystery is a really loose term when it comes to this kind of thing, right? Let me explain basically. I find Beastars to be the most mysterious mystery out there. Now I know that sounds weird, but like it's a like every arc is just a big mystery. Just like finding the clues and finding the answer and then the final confrontation. Most series are like the enemy, you know what they did, you know why, and then it just gets into the enemy. Now Beastars is you don't know the enemy, you don't know why, you don't know when, you don't know how, you don't know anything about them. The whole mystery is finding out who it was. Like there's a whole arc to finding out like a murderer. There's a whole arc to finding out like you know who it is, but you have to find where they are, how to beat them and all that. It's just Beastar does the mystery great. Honorable mention to Bungo Stray Dogs. I'm just gonna mention it really quick. I was gonna put it for Supernatural, but for some reason I just didn't. And it's also mystery as well. But great anime. You should definitely watch it. I would read the manga, but I already have so much I want to read, and I just gotta hope that season 4 comes around eventually. But yeah, definitely you should watch Bungo Stray Dogs. It's great. It's just really fun to watch. It's got some really fun characters, But yeah, the last genre I wanted to mention was historical. Now, again, I mentioned this before. I don't want to have any popular series, so no Vagabond, and I didn't want to have any super long series like Kingdom. So I had to kind of compromise myself here, and I still want to have historical. Also, Novaland Saga, because that's just extremely popular, especially now since season 2 got announced. But I kind of just had to conform with having Gantz E. Now, Gantz E, for those who don't know, is Gantz. It's just like it has a similar concept to Gantz, right? Kind of like the same concept. It's Gantz, but in the Edo period of Japan, and with different characters, different setting, and all that. And it's so really fun to read. It's not equally as good, but it's just in most of its aspect, it's the same. I'm only 14 chapters in out of like 20 something. It's monthly. It's really just enjoyable, and I recommend it to anyone because out of like the 14 chapters I've read, and I'm only missing like 10 chapters or something. Let me check right now. I'm missing 6 chapters, and it's just really fun and enjoyable, and the chapters again fly by. But that is it for the video. I know it's sudden, but that's how it is around here. But yeah, I do also am trying to like upload more because I still have family here until like for another 13 days. So I still want to upload as much, but I'm gonna try to be more like I guess consistent with it and stuff. Which is why I've also been trying to do easier videos so I can upload them quicker. Which I've been doing like reviews more and all that because they're easier to do. But when that's gone, I'll try to do more videos that like take a bit more editing or videos with just other people because I haven't done those in a while and those are actually really fun. But yeah, that is it for the video. If you liked it, let me know what you thought down below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and peace.